A mined strait looks calm from above until one ship explodes and global trade stops moving. And in the Strait of Hormuz, that danger is not theoretical. It can choke energy, panic markets, and trap fleets. So how does the U.S. Navy actually reopen water like this? Not with one ship, not with one bomb. It takes drones, helicopters, sonar, explosive robots, escorts, decoys, surveillance, and crews working inside a floating kill zone. Because clearing mines is not a single strike. It is a slow, exposed, step-by-step war against invisible weapons. Today, we go inside how the U.S. Navy actually opens a mined strait. Everything starts with geography. Hormuz compresses oceanic trade into a narrow corridor where mistakes instantly become strategic. This tiny waterway carries oil, gas, fertilizer, and cargo volumes large enough to shake economies worldwide. Before any clearance begins, ships pile up outside the strait waiting for risk, orders, and reassurance. Mines are powerful because they weaponize uncertainty. Commerce can stop long before any ship is hit. Bottom mines wait silently on the seabed, invisible to crews above and devastating against heavy traffic. Tethered mines are worse in shallow channels because they rise into the exact path ships need. Drifting mines add another nightmare. Even yesterday's safe chart can suddenly become dangerously wrong by morning. And limpet mines prove danger does not only come from fields. Sabotage can ride directly onto hulls. For commercial shipping, insurance costs and fear move faster than fleets, explosions, or official declarations ever do. At Hormuz's narrowest point, there is almost no spare room for navigation, error, or evasive maneuver. That is why destroyers enter first, not to sweep mines, but to shield everyone doing harder work. Surface control matters immediately because a mine-clearing force dies quickly if the water picture collapses. 2 U.S. warships transiting the strait signaled the beginning of reopening, not the end of danger. Above the ships, surveillance aircraft and drones extend the fleet's eyes far beyond the horizon. Helicopters help search the surface, spotting suspicious objects and patterns that sonar alone can miss. Heavy mine countermeasures helicopters show an older truth. Sometimes the safest sweep comes from above water. Legacy minesweepers still matter, but mine warfare is shifting toward distance, automation, and layered sensing. Newer ships act more like motherships, launching unmanned systems instead of sending sailors directly forward. Unmanned surface vessels go first because the ideal minesweeper is the one nobody has aboard. Underwater drones then descend into the murk, where the real battle against hidden objects begins. Detection is not certainty.
A suspicious shape may be a mine, debris, rock, or pure sonar clutter. So analysts compare sonar imagery and seabed context carefully before calling one underwater contact truly dangerous. On the chart, every symbol matters because unknowns are what keep entire shipping corridors closed. The commander's first job is not heroism, it is building one cautious lane through uncertainty. Modern mine warfare is designed around distance, buying safety with robotics, patience, procedure, and disciplined repetition. When one contact appears, nearby movement pauses because rushing around uncertainty is how ships disappear. The closer camera feed matters because recognition turns a mysterious shape into a tactical decision point. Once confirmed, that mine becomes manageable, but only because the process stayed disciplined and exact. Expendable neutralization robots embody the new logic, send the machine where sailors should not go. The approach must be precise because underwater explosives punish clumsy movement and careless overconfidence instantly. Neutralization is usually brief, but reaching that moment can demand hours of patient, deliberate preparation beforehand. After the blast, the team checks again. One destroyed mine means nothing if another waits nearby. That is why cleared water expands slowly, almost reluctantly, one verified segment at a time. Sweeping sleds revive an older concept, provoke hidden explosives before valuable ships enter the area. Divers remain the most uncomfortable reminder that even modern mine warfare can become brutally intimate. And all this happens under threat from fast boats, drones, and missile fire from shore. Escorts, therefore, fight a second battle, protecting slow specialists whose work cannot be rushed or replaced. Coastal missiles widen the problem because the Strait can kill from land as easily as sea. Surveillance must watch not only mines below, but every launch point, radar cue, and movement above. A clearance force that cannot...
So the operation becomes a sequence: detect, identify, neutralize, verify, escort, and begin the cycle again. Verification matters because a cleared lane is trustworthy only after separate systems confirm the same result. Merchant captains need coordinates, timing, and escort rules before trust can translate into actual movement. A first test transit proves something important. Confidence returns ship by ship, not speech by speech. Better sonar changes the war underwater by making the seabed readable instead of overwhelmingly ambiguous. Artificial intelligence helps too, accelerating classification so crews spend less time debating clutter and more confirming. Mechanical sweeps still have value because older mine types sometimes demand blunt physical solutions and the seabed itself becomes part of the problem, hiding shapes in sand, clutter, and shifting currents. Darkness does not stop mine warfare, it simply hands more authority to sensors and procedure. Thermal surveillance keeps the task force visible to itself even when the surrounding sea disappears. Only after repeated verification do commercial crews begin preparing carefully for the first escorted movement ahead. Escort geometry is carefully planned because protection must work against mines, boats, missiles, and panic simultaneously. When the first tanker enters the lane, the operation stops being theoretical and becomes economically real. From above, the cleared corridor looks impossibly thin, more incision than highway, more compromise than victory. Even then, one suspicious contact can halt everything, forcing commanders to choose patience over momentum. Fast boat swarms remain dangerous because cheap speed can still harass expensive naval formations with real effectiveness. Helicopters widen protection by watching both the sea surface and the threatening shoreline at once, together. Merchant crews know the truth. A cleared lane still runs through a live combat environment.
Reaching slightly wider water feels safer, but the escorts still cannot afford to relax yet. Markets respond instantly, proving that one successful convoy can calm prices faster than speeches can. History matters here, because the United States has already fought to keep Gulf shipping alive before. During Ernest Will, free-flagged tankers sailed under American protection through waters already poisoned by Thier. Bridgerton's mine strike proved an escort does not cancel danger, it merely helps manage it. The Samuel B. Roberts incident showed how one mine can nearly break a warship apart. Yet those convoys still delivered a lesson. Persistence, not perfection, is what reopens threatened water. Today, that lesson survives, but now drones, missiles, and swarms make the challenge much harsher. Modern confidence is fragile. One successful attack can undo weeks of careful clearance and escort work. Thin coalition support makes the mission harder because specialized mine warfare assets are already scarce. That scarcity means every destroyer, helicopter, drone, and crew may be stretched across one corridor. Behind every robotic system is a tired sailor keeping cables, sensors, launches, and repairs functioning. Time is the enemy too, because clearing a strait may take weeks while markets demand relief. The future points toward robotic swarms that can search, classify, and kill mines cooperatively together. But today's reality is messier. Humans still supervise almost every meaningful underwater decision and correction. Insurance prices reveal a brutal truth. Shipping resumes only when confidence becomes commercially affordable again.
Temporary markers and digital routing help transform uncertain water into something ships can cautiously trust. Still, danger remains on both sides because clearance rarely means the whole sea is harmless. The entire operation is therefore a chain where sonar, pilots, coders, escorts, and captains all matter. Victory arrives quietly, often as nothing more dramatic than a captain ordering normal speed ahead. Geography keeps reasserting itself. Hormuz is valuable precisely because it is cramped, narrow, and unavoidable. What moves through this strait is not just crude oil, but entire systems of modern life. Pipelines can bypass part of the problem, but they cannot replace the full scale normally flowing. That is why empty terminals matter. Alternative infrastructure still leaves enormous volumes stranded by closure. Far from the Gulf, families feel this as fuel shortages, shorter work weeks, and shrinking daily mobility. Price spikes are the visible financial expression of a deeper logistical bottleneck and strategic shock. Even late in the operation, one suspicious shape can drag everyone back into full caution. Discipline matters most here because impatience is exactly what hidden explosives are designed to exploit.
Alarms are frustrating, but safer than the arrogance of assuming every doubtful contact is harmless. Successful reopening depends on repetition. Same geometry, same checks, same restraint, over and over again. From above, the escorts look tiny, reminding us how enormous the geographic challenge really is. Mine warfare is strange that way, lethal, exhausting, visually quiet, and psychologically relentless for crews. By day's end, commanders still worry about new mining, missile shots, drone raids, and panic. Sensor fusion becomes essential because survival depends on understanding sea, sky, coast, and convoy together. At night, electronics replace instinct. The corridor stays open only because instruments keep watching continuously. Even after passage, underwater vehicles keep scanning because a safe lane must stay safe continuously. None of this works without training because mine warfare rewards procedure more than improvisation or bravado. Every cable checked by hand is part of the real system, keeping autonomous tools useful. Letting one convoy out is not enough. The Navy has to preserve the corridor afterward. So as soon as one mission ends, the next cycle of launches, checks, and patrols begins. On the chart, that narrow, glowing lane becomes a lifeline for markets and maritime confidence. Looking back, the operation works only because many separate disciplines lock into one continuous chain. In the end, victory is not absolute safety. It is managed confidence strong enough to move ships. Good commanders finish one shift already planning the next search boxes, checks, escorts, and contingencies. From orbit, again, the entire struggle shrinks into one narrow slit of highly contested water. That slit is opened by operating across every layer at once: seabed, surface, air, and command. Real success looks ordinary. Merchant ships spacing out normally without panic, convoy drama, or headlines. But stability remains guarded because open water here stays open only through constant visible deterrence. The robot returning aboard carries the hidden scars of the most dangerous part of the mission. Across decades, the tools changed dramatically, but the central mission remained brutally familiar to sailors. In the final accounting, success means restored throughput, lower fear, steadier markets, and routine replacing emergency. The calm morning traffic at the end exists only because invisible dangers were patiently removed. Even after ships continue onward, protection turns back toward the choke point and patiently remains there. That thin, safe line on the chart was earned mile by mile, never granted instantly. That is how the U.S. Navy opens a mined strait, carefully, visibly, and
under constant threat.